Your dad's sitting on a recliner?
Yeah, he started snoring, so.
I'm glad I got that. I just hit record. Cameron Rittenour's dad snoring in a nearby recliner. You're listening to The Whole Spiel, a podcast from USA Curling that puts the spotlight on people who curl in the United States, people who are building the sport, and people who just flat out love it. In this episode, we talk with two players about their journeys to earning a spot with their team in the 2021 USA Curling Olympic Trials. I am joined for this episode by two curlers who spent a week in May booking their spot in the 2021 Olympic team trials for curling. From Team Brundidge, Cameron Rittenour and Evan Workin, welcome to The Whole Spiel.
Hey, thanks
for having us.
Yeah, glad you guys are here. So here's why I invited you guys on, because your path to the trials, both personal and team one, may not be the typical journey that people think about. So I want to start with you, Cam, because we've talked a little bit, I think at Arena Nationals years ago, about your journey in the sport. So tell me how and when you started curling, and what your initial goals were like and what you're thinking now.
Absolutely. So I started a little over 5.5 years ago and played down in Sioux Falls on arena ice for a few years, and really grew to love the sport. And myself, I just want to be the best I can in anything I do. And so I took the initiative to get better. And fortunately enough, I found some great teammates that taught me along the way and still teaching me to this day, and just aspired to make the Olympic trials. That was the goal. And fortunately, we were able to pull it off.
So how old were you when you started curling?
I was 30.
30. Damn. Now so full credit to you, because I think it's actually a hard game to pick up then, but you're also an athlete, right? You're a college football kicker, soccer player?
That's correct. Yep.
Didn't you once boot a pretty long field goal in college football?
Yeah, 62-yard field goal.
For who? Where can I look that up?
Minnesota State.
Minnesota State. So I think maybe in Omaha, I'm going to bring some uprights into the arena, and we're going to have a field goal kicking contest. And I'm not going to tell. Well, now people will know. I was going to put a big bet on you first, but anyways, I can't do that. How about you, Evan? Tell me about your journey in curling. How do you start? How do you end up with these guys?
Sure. Like typical, started when I was around 12 after that first big shot of the Olympics. I'm not a basketball player by any means. I learned that in an early age, so needed that winter sport. And my parents brought me out. And after that first year, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, but got some friends, took off. Played through juniors, loved it, got that junior nationals experience. But when you age out, you go from being a better player in juniors to being the worst in men's. Right. It's a tough transition, and it took some years. And the year before Team Brundidge, we just had a tough year. Nothing was really working. And then we just jumped on with Jed and moved to cities and played with him. And I was just like, let's do it. And Cam was the same thing. He was coming up to Fargo for some classes and ran into us. And he was like, I want to play with you. And I was like, well, sure. What the heck? Let's give this a go. And then,
let's try this guy who's just started curling at 30. Let's give him a go.
Yeah. And then, it's like, expectations. It's like, well, last year, bottom of the barrel, what's another one like that? And then,
Did you ever say to him, hey, you suck less than I thought you would?
The first year was the trying process. That was for sure. But the thing, Cam had a great attitude, was really receptive to all of us and what we had to say, and kept everything light and positive all the time. And sometimes if you don't have the best curls on your team, but you have the right fit and personality types, man, everybody else can flourish around you. So it all worked out.
Yeah. So are you from Fargo originally? Is that where you learned to play?
Yep.
Yeah. And, you mentioned, so when you were a kid, you weren't that crazy about it. I'm just doing a little junior curling research here, but then you had a few friends who started playing, and that kept you in it?
Yeah. Like anything, you do play with your friends and you seem to love it. And, we were doing pretty good. We were all pretty good athletes. So just naturally picked it up pretty quickly. So.
And what other sports did you play growing up? You weren't a basketball player, but you were a college football kicker. And you were a college football kicker.
Yeah, football and baseball were my things. Love baseball. Still do a lot of softball and some amateur baseball now.
Got it. Tell me a little bit about your guy, and I'll throw this out to both of you, but your experiences at U.S. Nationals. I'm a big believer that you got to make a few trips to that, and then it gets pretty comfortable after a while. But the first time it isn't. And in my experience, it just got more comfortable as they played, and then eventually was also playing with better players, so that helped. But I'm like Cam. I'm a big believer in being a team architect. That was my strategy. How can I get on the best team I can be on? But tell me, like, because some years you guys went and you were like 1-8, and some years you guys were in the mix. So how did you handle all of that, Cam or Evan?
Yeah, our first year at Nationals was my second year curling, and we ended up making the tiebreakers, which was not because of me. Maybe it was my personality, more so me. I think I threw a crisp 56% that week. But the rest of the season was kind of the same thing, because the guys really had to step up and they had to make tough shots over and over again, and they were doing that. I think Evan made, 19 out of 20 runbacks just to keep us in it. But it was a great time. And then getting second at Nationals, I think things are starting to click. And just a recap for that. Yeah, we went 1-8 the year before that. So that was a tough year. Jed hurt his shoulder. So we actually played three-handed 3 games. And the other games, Jed was in pain the whole time. So
right.
That didn't help. And then, Nick wasn't feeling good all week. And here to find out that 2 weeks later he was diagnosed with cancer. So we definitely had a crutch, that's for sure.
You had a few things working against you there, and quickly we'll touch on Nick Wagner. He was your alternate in Wisconsin, but he spent the past year or so battling lymphoma and beating it. But but Lance Wheeler out of Denver joined the team when I guess Nick couldn't play, right? He was recovering. How much had you guys played with Lance before you played in Wausau?
Yeah. So we were starting to prep early on in the beginning of the year with Wheeler, and then we did some stuff in August, and when they ended up canceling everything, it happens. But we tried doing any local spiels, couple. So I think we only really played like 2 events with Lance, but we worked in a lot of practice weekends. We went out to Denver, just pounded out those team shots over and over. And Lance's personality was a great fit for the team, and just fit in really well. So it all clicked.
He's another guy who's an athlete, right? He started the game late. I think Lance started playing in his early 30s as well, didn't he? Or late 20s?
Yeah, him and I found out we started the same year.
All right. Yeah. I saw
Yeah.
Lance in Wausau, and I said, I remember playing against you when you sucked, but you're really good now. You really improved quite a bit, because I did. But yeah, I was impressed by how far he's come as well. Real shout out to you guys too. It was a really nice gesture, I thought, or a good move when you put Nick Wagner in your last game. Is he going to be your 5th at the trials?
Yeah, absolutely. Nick's a great team fit. He really filled in as a coaching role throughout that whole week. Nick's a very intellectual guy, and he notices a lot of things, and he always, was great about starting the conversation with us. And he's still a heck of a player as well. So if he ever has to fill in for any reason at all, we know he's gonna be ready to go and perform well.
Keep the heat on Cameron so he doesn't throw that crisp 56 again, right? So,
Yep, I don't think I ever threw it again, but it takes talent to throw that.
Here's my take on lead percentages, though. The top lead in an event is usually on the worst team, because when you play lead, if your team's getting drubbed every game, you throw a million corner guards. So I think really the only scores that matter if you're on a bad team are the first couple ends. After that, I'd come off the ice and it'd be like, oh, you bowled a 92. I'd be like, yeah, we got crushed. So, you guys ranked number 68 in the world. I know what that's like. One time we were ranked 96 in the world with Keith McCormick, and we beat Kevin Cooey, who was number 3. So I know what it's like to be ranked low. But let's be honest, you weren't one of the pre-event favorites in Wausau. I mean, it wasn't like if you were a betting person, you weren't putting money on you. Did that help you guys? Did it help you play with a bit of a chip on your shoulder?
Actually, not really. I think we focused on our game and, where we're ranked. And I know that we were going to be seated low just because of the year before and our difficulties at Nationals in Spokane. But we just kind of put our head down and played our game, and we shot a great week.
And what are you thinking, Evan? What are you thinking about how you guys prepare next year? It's tricky because schedules are still a little sketchy, but and hopefully we don't have any sort of COVID blowback here coming up, but what are you guys thinking for a schedule next fall to get ready for the trials?
Yeah, we got our calendar. We're starting to get some things finalized. We just found out yesterday they're going to open up the border. So Canada is pretty close for us now, and some place, like Winnipeg always has a ton of events they're hosting. So there's a couple close that we're going to try and get in early in the year, and then we got a bunch of practice weekends. I know flights to Denver have been cheap. They got that year-round ice, so it's been great to go out there, practice with Lance. They got some great ice at the Denver Curling Club. So a lot of practice weekends, and then any event and any and all events that are going to be open to us, we're definitely looking at.
Denver Curling Club is Quentin Way, the ice tech, right? So he preps it pretty nice for you, I'm going to guess.
Oh, absolutely. We're always happy when Quentin's prepping ice for us.
And then, there are some events, I guess, relatively close to you guys from, I know Jason Gunlickson runs an early event in Manitoba, so hopefully you can get in some of those. They did just open the border. I just made my summer vacation plans, although they're still not letting Canadians back here. So who knows what's going to happen? They're not letting Canadians in here for some reason. Hey, you guys are also entered in something called the Curve U.S. Open of Curling. It's an apparel company, Curve Curling Apparel, that you guys have together. But first, why do you guys think it's a good idea to have an event where you have to try and win back your own money? You're sponsoring an event. You're going to go in, you got to win.
Right.
You're already in the hole badly.
Right. I think the biggest thing for us was the difficulties we had moving forward to get points, so we're not ranked that 68th or the 180th or whatever. So something we're really working on with John Benton and Jerry Gertz is to kind of branch out from that one U.S. Open that he had and the contender round. We're trying to look and doing like a tier 2 type event to where we've got 3 or 4 spiels for tier 2 teams that can, benefit up and coming competitive teams to help get them to that next level and be able to be competitive. So that was the biggest thing for us. So now we've branched out. There's a mixed, a juniors, a contender round for both men and women's, and then of course the U.S. championships, men and women's. And, with COVID kind of being on limbo, we looked at doing the 3 or 4 contender events this year, but right now we're not 100% sure what we're going to do with that yet. We might still come out with a couple events, later on after the trials or something. But as of right now, with scheduling conflicts, we're just focused on those 4 events.
And for people who may not follow higher level curling as much, when you talk tier 2, you're really talking about those teams that are just sort of one notch below getting into bigger events, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. So on that note, one of the things I want to talk about, what Evan, or we'll start with you. What do you think, Evan, we could do to grow the game here in the United States? That's part of my task at USA Curling, so I'm always looking for ideas. Where do you see opportunities?
Sure. So I've seen what they're doing with the junior stuff. I've always been a huge advocate for junior curling, and seeing them expand some of that junior stuff back to like those 10, 12 teams. I think it's a great idea. They got the camps going on right now, and Chaska and Blaine. So I think getting that juniors built up to keep going. Also with, I think these tier 2 events is great because it's hard to show up and, say like Eblitz or wherever where you're going to face those John Schusters and those top teams coming in. It's a hard thing to swallow going in, knowing kind of how it's probably going to go. It's hard to cut your teeth. So how do you make that leap? And just, there's no lack of curlers in the U.S. It's just how do we kind of tear through that stuff and get there. So I think that tier 2 stuff that's starting to show up more and more now. I think it's gonna be a great idea. And you can see in Canada they're trying to do similar stuff.
How about you, Cam? I mean, what kept you, Cameron, apart from maybe where you didn't grow up near a curling club, but what kept you from curling before you were 30?
Well, I guess the short stick of it is I snowmobile raced for 12 years and then I quit doing that. And I had this big void in the winter, and that's what made me start curling. So I didn't have time for both snowmobiling and curling, and I knew a little bit about it. Tucker Smith was my next door roommate at NDSU, and he tried to talk me into going to curling quite a bit, but I never did. So, that's the biggest one. I had other commitments with other winter hobbies.
Tucker Smith from Bismarck, North Dakota. So, so you went from the world of snowmobile racing to the fast-paced world of curling. Is that right?
That's right.
What do your snowmobile racing buddies think of that move?
Well,
They can't go to the Olympic Games, though. Did you tell them that?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Racing.
Right. They laugh at me and everything, but I'll tell you what, outside of my first year curling, I think curling was a lot safer sport. I definitely had my fill of falls. Evan can contest to that, curling starting out at that level. But it was definitely a safer hobby and a lifelong hobby that I could fulfill something with.
Awesome. All right, last question for both of you. Name your favorite place to curl. Start with you, Evan.
Oh, man. Like, we're talking like tour events or just straight up
just
curling?
Favorite club, event, anything. You can think about I'll go to Cameron because I prepped him for it. He might have an answer. Go to Cameron quick here. Cameron, what do you think?
Yeah, so honestly, Sioux Falls, it's arena ice. It's where I started. That's where I have, that core group of friends that I've always, I started curling with. And, they were really supportive going through everything. I was on the board there for a little while and just a great group of people. And, I always enjoy going down there and curling.
That's great to hear. I've gotten to know a little bit. Jake McKenzie and Dustin Hanson, they have ambition to continue to grow curling there. So it's great to hear, and I want to support those guys. How about you, Evan? What do you think now with some thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm going to go Grafton, North Dakota. It's from my wife's home club there. A lot of great memories up there. I love it. Such welcoming people. Home of Ben Tucker. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Ben's one of my close friends. I just saw Ben last weekend, I guess, or 2 weekends ago in Manhattan. He comes to Manhattan. The potato farmer from North Dakota takes on Manhattan, so we usually get together with him there. And Grafton, believe it or not, I played mixed 1 year. That was all I needed, 1 year of mixed. But I played mixed 1 year, and the mixed nationals were in Grafton. And I think that's when they still allowed smoking in the club upstairs. So gosh knows what my lungs looked like after that week, but I think maybe not now. They also have that great food counter. One time we were playing at noon. I thought, we got a nice crowd here, and I realized it was a lunch special. No one was there to watch the curling.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Still there. Love it.
Yeah. And then you got the extra in bar around the corner. Is that still going?
Absolutely. Always got to go there and see John Austin and, pat you on the back, give you a beer, tell you, he always stops in, give you a check out an end or two of the game, and get to shoot the breeze with him for a little bit.
All right. Well, that's a great experience. That's a good call, Grafton, North Dakota. Hey, I want to thank both you guys for being on. Good luck this fall and at the trials, and we'll get those uprights set up for Cameron at the Olympic trials in Omaha.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, take care. That was Cameron Rittenour and Evan Workin on the whole spiel. You can find out more about both of them and their Team Brundidge teammates on @TBCurling on Twitter. I'm Dean Gemmell, Director of Curling Development at USA Curling, and I hope you'll reach out to me with suggestions for future episodes or to share ideas that can help grow our game. Email me at dean.gemmell@usacurling.org. That's dean.gemmell, Gemmell, @usacurling.org. And remember to visit the USA Curling website to find news, get results, watch web streams, or check out some of the latest USA Curling merchandise and apparel. Be a member, be a supporter, be a fan, but stay involved in the sport you love.